Hello, everyone. Andrew here, and I'm going to talk to you today about the future of the housing market and what the experts think is going to be happening in the next couple of years. First of all, if it's your first time here, please subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot of great real estate information for you, so subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, hit that like button, comment down below, tell me what your thoughts are. I really appreciate you stopping by. If you check some of the other videos that I've done, I've talked about, the interest rates, what's causing those higher interest rates, how they're affecting your mortgage rates, and quite a few other topics, financial topics. Myself, I am a real estate agent, so I watch the real estate market very closely. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and I've always watched the market very closely. In the last couple of years, I mean, we have definitely been on this wild ride. It has been this just great red hot market. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's been great for sellers because for buyers, not so much. It's been a red hot market. There's been bidding wars with the low, although for buyers, they were doing very well because they were getting lower interest rates so they could afford more home with those lower interest rates. But prices were up quite a bit. And like I said, there was bidding wars, and all of that really came to a crashing halt when the Federal Reserve started raising the interest rates. We're currently now at 20-year high for mortgage rates because as the Federal Reserve raised their interest rates, mortgage rates started going up accordingly. And so now again, we're at 20-year highs. So that really red hot market that we were seeing with all the bidding wars has really came to an end. So everybody's wondering, what's going to happen with housing prices. So I did a lot of research on this topic, and I saw a lot of different things. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, what their predictions were, and a lot of different business websites, what their predictions were. And today I'm going to be quoting from some experts at the National Association of Realtors. And again, I am a member of the National Association of Realtors because I am a real estate broker. And so I'm going to be using some of these statistics that they have for us today. So first, I want to recap a little bit about what 2022 was like because we already started seeing that slowdown as soon as those interest rates started going up. But now, according to their statistics, home prices went up about 8.4% last year to an average of $384,000 nationwide. That was for existing home sales, and new home sale prices were actually up to $470,000 for new homes for last year in 2022. The days on market last year were between 12 and 23 days, which in a normal market, and what I mean by normal market is before we saw all of this red hot activity that we had. The normal market, we figured days on market to be about 45 days on market, and that just means from when a house got put on the market to when we actually have an accepted offer for that house. So most of the time, it was about a 45-day process. In this last year, it was average of 12 to 23 days, and very often houses would have offers the very first week they went up. People would be holding open houses and they'd take the best offer at the end of that open house. So it was really crazy. And it really corresponded, though, with as interest rates started going up, all of that started coming down. So, for example, in July, existing home sales for July of 2022 were 29% down from the level they were for July of 2021. And so right then you could see what was happening. The interest rates were going up. And so then the existing home sales started going down. Also, there remains a very tight inventory because people didn't want are not putting their houses on the market. So I'm going to go by what the National Association of Realtors, what their forecasts are for going into 2023. A big part of it is the interest rates. Now, the Federal Reserve has said they're going to continue to raise the interest rates. We're right now at record highs, although interestingly enough, they've actually the last week or so came down a couple of basis points, which is kind of interesting that that's happening. That's not a great sign because it actually means that our economy is slowing and there's less people applying for mortgages. And so then those rates are coming down because it's getting more competitive for the banks. So even though it sounds like a good thing that the mortgage rates are coming down, overall, that does not signal a great signal. But we got to remember that when these 2.75 to 3% mortgage rates were happening, that really was unheard of. Those were historic lows, and the Federal Reserve had basically taken their rate down to zero. So that's not going to happen again. It never should have happened in the first place. I believe that the Federal Reserve made a mistake by bringing that interest rate down to zero. It just, and again, so it translated into mortgage rates of 2.75 to 3%. A lot of people were able to get those rates at those historic lows, but that also is leading to why we have such short inventory. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. But according to the National Association of Realtors, and um, I've seen this in various ways. Now, some of them are predicting they're going to go the interest rates will go quite a bit higher, that we may even see as high as 10%. I actually did a video saying the interest rates may go as high as 10%, but I've kind of seen it all over the place. And this one makes the most sense to me, is what the National Association of Realtors are predicting. They're predicting that in 2023, they should stay right about where they are now, at about that 7%. They might go just a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, fluctuate a little bit. But through 2023, we're probably going to see right around 7% interest rates. And then within the next 2 years, they should settle off at that 5.5 to 6%. And really, that's where they're probably going to stay. Like I said, those historically low interest rates that we saw are just not going to come back. So that's one of the things that they're predicting now. Because of that, they're predicting that prices, because they were so elevated high, prices of homes are going to come down by about 5%, but the inventory is going to remain really tight. And there's really two reasons for that. The first thing is there's going to be less inventory because sellers are not putting their home on the market. Anyone in the last couple of years that got that 2.75 or 3% interest rate, they're going to hang on to that interest rate. So they're not going to sell that home, because if they sell the home and go get another mortgage, they're going to be at that 7%. So prices aren't going to come down as much as you might think, because the inventory is going to remain very tight. So the buyers that are still looking are still going to be going after that, what little bit comes on the market. Because again, inventory is going to remain tight because of that. And again, because of them, the sellers, the homeowners now don't want to give up that interest rate that they have. But another part of that is that the supply is going to stay very tight, because new home construction sales are falling dramatically. And part of that reason is that investors that want to build, it's much more cost effective for them to build an apartment and have 20 apartments in an apartment, that you can rent out 20 apartments, versus building one single family home. So builders are switching more to building apartment buildings, because again, the return on investment for them is much better than what it's going to be with lumber prices having gone up, and with prices of single family homes starting to come down. It's going to be more cost effective for them to build apartment buildings. So you're going to see more builders switching to apartment buildings being built versus being single family home, and that's going to keep that supply very tight. So if you're a buyer, right now we're probably at that peak of the interest rates, but they're not going to come down a lot. So with prices staying relatively the same, coming down, just a little bit, it's still not a bad time to buy. I've done several videos on the advantages of being a homeowner versus being a renter, and it's still not a bad time to buy, because if you're going to try to wait until you get those under 5% interest rates, that's not going to happen. You're just not going to see that again, because again, it never should have been there. That was actually a mistake that the Federal Reserve made, of having them go that low, because part of it is, literally they can't make a profit when they're at 0%. So they're just not going to do that again. They're going to raise their basis points up again a little bit higher, which you might see the interest rates go up a little bit. But again, when they come back down, people will have the option of refinancing. I think everyone's in agreement, though, that we're not going to see less than 5.5 or 6%. So it's still a good time for buyers to go ahead and get the home that they want. Talk to a qualified real estate agent about what you should be paying for your home, because unfortunately there was a lot of situations where I think people were overpaying for homes, especially when these bidding wars started happening. And the good thing about it now is I really don't think you're going to see these bidding wars. That has pretty much stopped. I'm seeing it in my area already now, where the bidding wars are stopping and you're more likely to get that home that you bid on. So if you're a buyer and you're still looking for a home, I still say go for it, because I think there's a lot of advantages to being a homeowner versus being a renter. Check out a couple of my other videos, because I go into that in detail on that. But hey, if you like what you saw, hey, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a like. The helps me a lot if people like the videos and comment on the videos. I want to get information out to as many people as possible. So thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe, comment, and like. Thank you.